My brother asked me to be the best man at his wedding. 2 weeks before the ceremony, I found out he was marrying my ex-fiancée. When my younger brother Adam called and asked me to be his best man, I said yes before he even finished the sentence. We'd always been close, and after everything our family had been through, I was genuinely happy he'd found someone he wanted to spend his life with. The only thing he wouldn't tell me was her name. He said he wanted it to be a surprise because she'd been living overseas for work and was flying back just before the engagement party. I thought it was a little strange, but I figured he was trying to make some grand romantic entrance. The engagement party was held at our parents' house. I showed up early to help set everything up, and about an hour later, a black SUV pulled into the driveway. Adam hurried outside to greet his fiancée. The second she stepped out of the passenger seat, my entire body went numb. It was Claire, the woman I'd been engaged to 3 years earlier. The same woman who had disappeared 6 weeks before our wedding after telling me she needed to find herself. She looked just as shocked as I felt. But Adam threw his arm around her waist and proudly introduced her as the love of his life. Nobody else noticed the silence between us except Claire. For the rest of the evening, Claire avoided being alone with me. Adam, completely unaware of our history, kept talking about how fate had brought them together. During a business conference in Seattle, I wanted to pull him aside right then and tell him everything. But every time I looked at him, he looked happier than I'd seen him in years. I convinced myself there had to be some explanation. Maybe she'd already told him about us. Maybe he knew and simply hadn't realized how serious our relationship had been. Before I left, Claire quietly asked if we could meet the next day. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We met at a small coffee shop the following afternoon. Claire admitted she'd never told Adam we had once been engaged. According to her, she'd been afraid he'd end the relationship if he found out. Then she asked me to keep the secret until after the wedding because she didn't want to destroy his happiness. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She wasn't asking for forgiveness. She was asking me to help lie to my own brother. When I asked whether she truly loved him, she hesitated just long enough for me to realize the answer wasn't as simple as she wanted it to be. That night, I called Adam and asked if we could grab dinner. I didn't tell him everything immediately. Instead, I asked one question. Has Claire ever mentioned that she was engaged before? He frowned and shook his head. I pulled out my phone and showed him an old picture from my engagement party. There I was, smiling beside Claire, both of us wearing matching rings. Adam stared at the screen for nearly a minute without saying a word. Finally, he whispered, she told me she'd never even been close to getting married. The next few days were absolute chaos. Adam confronted Claire, who admitted we'd been together, but claimed she'd hidden it because she was terrified of losing him. Then another lie unraveled. Adam discovered she'd stayed in contact with me for months after ending our engagement, even while she was beginning to date him. She insisted the timelines had overlapped by accident, but the messages told a different story. She'd been talking to both of us at the same time for weeks, promising each of us a future while deciding which relationship she wanted more. The wedding was canceled less than 2 weeks before the ceremony. Deposits were lost, invitations had to be explained, and our family spent months recovering from the fallout. Adam apologized over and over for unknowingly putting me in that position, but I never blamed him. None of it was his fault. The only person responsible was the one who believed lies could stay buried forever. Claire tried reaching out to both of us several times after everything fell apart, but neither of us responded. It's been 4 years now, and my brother and I are closer than we've ever been. Every once in a while, someone asks why his first wedding never happened, and he simply smiles and says, I found out just in time. Looking back, I realize keeping quiet would have been easier in the moment, but it would have destroyed our relationship forever. Some truths hurt when they're told, but they hurt a lot more when they're discovered too late. If you were in my position, would you have told your brother the truth immediately or stayed silent to avoid ruining the wedding?